welcome to our webinar with regards to ISO 19650 naming conventions in Autodesk Construction Cloud. We will be referring to BIM 360 as well. Just some practical information before we actually start the session. This session is being recorded, so you can refer back to it on demand. If we go through any of the technical aspects, it is more of a technical dive today as well. So if we go in through the technical aspects and it's a bit too fast or a bit too slow, we can always comment in things in the chat. But if you do have any questions, then we can capture those questions as well within a questions and answer section at the end of the session. So please do type out your questions as the session's going along, and we will try to capture as much as possible at the end of this session. If not, we will reply back to you afterwards. We'll try not to take up the full hour. We're going to try to do this as a technical, quick overview over some of the aspects of ISO 19650. In terms of an agenda today, what we're going to do is go through a bit of a welcome and introduction, introduce ourselves, who we are, why we're here today to give you this technical setup. And then we're going to go through the basics of creating a new project in ACC. Is it the first time you've seen Autodesk Construction Cloud? Is there maybe a button that you might not have clicked on before? So just a bit of starting off easy and then going up a gear, if you like, within the process of setting up and importing and exporting ISO 19650 naming conventions in ACC. Just before the Christmas holiday, just at the end of last year, there were some new features that has come out, and we've tried to capture that within today's session, within today's webinar for you. And then we're going to go through the news with Martyn Stoneham. So we have some really exciting new features that have come out in ACC and BIM 360, and we will capture those at the end of today's session. Then we're going to end on a summary and a Q&A. So thank you very much for taking the time out of your day this morning to join myself, Bettool Jabur. I'm a technical kind of representative, if you like, within Symetri. So I'm a senior consultant and BIM 360 ACC technical lead. By trade, I can be quite biased because by trade, I'm a chartered architectural technologist. So I come in from the architectural angle on everything, but I will try to include the rest of the industry as much as possible while we are on this session today.
Thanks, Bettool. Yeah, my name is Martyn Stoneham. I am a specialist across the Autodesk Construction Cloud and BIM 360. So I interact with the clients when they're talking to their account managers about looking at or developing a strategy in the cloud using the Autodesk portfolio. So I will be covering some of the updates under the news side of things later on in the presentation.
Exciting stuff. I can't wait for the news with Martyn Stoneham. It'll be really, really cool. Probably one of the things to watch out for in this presentation, maybe look back on. In the chat, we have got a link as well there for you. So we'll talk about what that link is doing later on during the session as well. So let's move over to the technical part of this presentation, diving straight into it. How can we create a new project in ACC? Here, what we have is a new project. Project Amigos is being created, and you just fill in some data. But what's really key here is that you select the template that holds your folder structure. Some of this data you can go back in later on and amend and adjust, but making sure that you have that template selected is really important. In this situation, I've gone in for one of our Symetri ISO templates, which is an external full template. So for the clients who have had us configure their projects, they will have seen this particular template previously. This comes in with a folder structure and role-based permissions. So later on in this demo, we'll be able to see how those items from the folder structure and role-based permissions has actually helped us with the way that we want to configure this project. So in terms of assigning modules, this part is really important. When we add users, which we're going to do shortly, we need to make sure that we have the modules assigned to us, including the project admin. If you are the project admin, as in the project lead, we need to make sure that we've selected those items that we can see on the right there. So for myself in this scenario, I've added docs, design collaboration, and model coordination. They're all switched on within those icons on the right-hand side. So in blue, we can see as well, it says turn on project access for yourself. So as an account admin, you've created the project. If you're not passing it on to someone else and you are the project lead, we need to make sure that you've switched on docs, design collaboration, and model coordination if you are using those. Of course, there's takeoff, build, and cost management within my remit as well that I could have switched on. But I've just switched the three main ones for now. Moving over then into assigning other members. So now I'm a project admin. I need to go in and bring my other members into the mix. So I go in to bring in my colleagues or my partners or my other disciplines and teams who are going to be joining us. Once I bring those in, just refreshing my page will just show me the members of my team. What we need to make sure is that we also switch on the relevant modules for the colleagues that we've just brought in as well into the project. So very straightforward so far. We've created a project, we've had a look at making sure we've assigned the correct project admin, and once we've done that, we just brought in the members. So very fast so far, but very, very important steps in order for us to move forward within the project. Folder structure. Now, I mentioned previously about having the template, the ISO 19650 template, our Symetri one that we do for configuration. Here is our configured template project file setup that has come through, and we can see we've got our own discipline areas. We can see that we've got our own model space area. Folder structures come in. That's just a bit of a sanity check, if you like, just double checking to make sure that everything is in there in the way it needs to be. Now, what's really important is making sure that we have a look at this next step closely, where we will be looking at downloading a name and standard Excel template within our ACC. So this is a new part that's just come out just before Christmas, so at the end of 2021, and we're looking to see how we can do that now. So folder setup, as we said, was there. Now there's two places for settings. There's settings on the left-hand side and there's settings on the right-hand side. We need to make sure that we go to the settings on the right-hand side, in which we can then go in and find our naming standards. Okay, so within here, once we've gone into that correct area, what we need to do is just make sure that we are exporting the Excel spreadsheet. So just clicking on the three dots, we have got import or download template. If you've never had an ISO 19650 naming convention template before, then here is your template. And this is something that will help you to develop and create something that you can bring in into every single project. So instead of just having role-based permissions and your project files, we can go in and fill out the template as we wish. We can go in and delete some items. There's a lot of instructions with this template, and if you actually miss any of those instructions, it will break. I've broken it before. You know, I tried to do something very quickly, but actually what I tried to do was very wrong. So we need to make sure that we go in and adhere to those rules that's within the instructions, really, in order for this template to work. So going in, we can go in and remove items, we can add the functional breakdown, spatial breakdown, follow the ISO 19650 naming conventions, or any other naming convention that you have for your files that you want to upload to the naming enforced folders. So going in here, you cannot delete the first 4 tabs of this. This is one of the rules. And the existing names that are already pre-populated, if you rename those, I found that it breaks it. So we just need to make sure that we either delete the original and then word it how we want it to be. What we're doing here essentially is creating our own attributes. And we're creating the drop down as to the list of values that we want for those attributes. So by doing that in Excel, we get the Excel functionality. We're not having to just rely on what we have in ACC, but we have now Excel functionality that we can do. So going up in increments, or having some text that we can copy and paste from our standardized, BIM execution plans or anything like that. We can just bring them into our Excel spreadsheet and fill it out as I am doing here on the screen. Okay. And so there we go. I used the increments as I needed, and then I could just go in and edit and just type as needed to go in and fill out and finish off the way that I wanted to fill in that spreadsheet. Once that spreadsheet is done, what we can do is have a look at importing that spreadsheet. So provided we've adhered to all of the instructions, we can import that naming standard file into our ACC environment. And this is the beauty of this, because if someone's done all of the hard work at the start of a project, it's a click of a button and you just bring it in and it works. So how do we do that? So importing it in name and standard, we can literally just drag and drop it into place. or if we've still not downloaded the template, we can download it there. But we can see there's a green tick. If there's any errors, you'll have an error notification at this point. But here we can see the order in which I've created, my naming convention and my related attributes are in there as well. And then we can just go in and see that that has been successful in green there. And we can go into customize to see anything within there. But first of all, looking at the attributes, they've all come in nicely. So I've not created it in ACC, I've created it in my Excel spreadsheet, brought it into ACC, and now we can see that the attributes are available. Going into customize, we can actually move these attributes about. So it's exactly the same functionality as what we had previously, but it's much better because we've already created it. It's populated with all of the information that you want, and it's available, it's ready. We can just kind of utilize it now within the platform. So everything is green tick here so far. Everything has come in the way that it should be. And ACC has understood that, and my preview is a demonstration of that. I've kept the enable holding area switched on for this, and I just want to go into my files now and just check to see which folders possibly that I want to go in and have it as a naming standards enforcement folder. So I'm just going to choose some folders. Now, something to note, you can choose the parent folder like I've just done here, or you could go into a folder and you can choose the subfolder, so the child folder if you like, and then we can just have the name and enforcement on those. So name enforcement does not need to be on every single folder. It depends on your practice and your needs as to where it is that you want to have a name and enforcement folder. Name and enforcement meaning basically that you have to adhere to a standard to the file that you're uploading to that particular folder. So common practice is your shared folders so that others can see something named correctly and it shows that we're following and adhering to standards. So here I'm just uploading a folder, a file. So it's just a Revit file that I'm just uploading. Could be any of the file formats that are compatible. And I'm just uploading it to a non-naming conformed area. And we can see it's gone in naturally. It's gone in okay. It's gone in fine. But if I do that same exercise, if I go through that same exercise in a file naming enforced area, if I upload something from my computer, the same file, it will come up with this kind of error, if you like. So it's telling me I need to do something. I need to rename this particular file. So you put in your project name or number, then you go for your originator, you follow through the whole naming process until it goes in. Really, really cool feature that Autodesk have introduced into here. And then you put in your related attributes, go in and upload it. And as soon as you've renamed it, it's uploaded into that particular project, and we now have that particular file shown in there. Really, really cool feature using the Excel spreadsheet, bringing something in. But what if I want to take something out of Excel? Okay, so sorry, out of ACC into Excel. So I've got my perfect project, but I want to now take those standards into my Excel spreadsheet and work on it, edit it, etc., then bring it back into my next project, then we can do that. So by having a look at this, exporting a naming standard, we can see here that we can't actually import one into an existing project. But what we can do is we can export it into Excel. Here's that Excel spreadsheet filled out the way that we expect it to be filled out. So the first 4 tabs untouched, and then after that, everything with all of my kind of workings within the Excel spreadsheet. So we can utilize that, edit it, we can bring it back in just following those basic steps that we've just been through. Okay, it's a very quick demo as I've mentioned in the start of this. Now we are looking at the news with Martin. So very quick technical setup. It's a very quick process. There's nothing more to it. It's straightforward. It is a process that kind of takes us through how we can utilize that Excel spreadsheet, just following on from the guidance that has been put in that Excel spreadsheet when you download it, and then we can just place it back in. Now we're going to just go through this section with Martin and some exciting, hot off the press news that's just been out in the last week or so.
Thanks, Bettool. That's fantastic. And I think looking back at what you just done there, it just shows that Autodesk are carrying on the way of updating and enhancing their platforms, but it's easy to bring these enhancements in. They're easy to use, which is really important, so everybody can access the platform, whatever your skill set is. I know the ISO stuff can be challenging, but it is relatively simplistic when you're putting it into this system. So yeah, great overview and thank you. So yeah, guys, let's have a look at a few of the updates. I'm only going to go over 3 or 4 of them sort of that we've picked out, but there are 35 updates in January alone. So there are a huge amount, a lot of them around filtering, capabilities of finding data, sharing data, and so on. So we'll share the link afterwards and you can go and have a look for them yourselves. I'd encourage you to sign up to get that notification when the updates come out. So you'll get it the same day we get it, and just to keep on top of it. So this section's more for, I guess, the existing users. So if we look at the admin filtering account members, so this is something we've been needed for a while. So you're able at account level to filter by name, role, status, company, and access level. So we're really able to get into granular detail of the licenses and where they go within individuals, something that's been a bit of a challenge before. So I'd advise the admins go and have a look at that. And you'll be able to get to that information a lot quicker. It's going to save you a lot of time as well.
Yeah, and having been through a lot of deliveries on this now, this is something that clients are asking for. You know, can we go in and filter? Can we go in and make things a bit easier? There's a lot of people to manage. How do we do that? And this is amazing. You know, this is amazing in terms of helping us with that workflow and answering those questions for them now.
Now, so next slide, please, Bettool.
Yeah.
Okay, so dashboard. So markups, we can now start to again sort of filter on markups, run reports on markups, so we can see markups per sheet, per project, percentage of markups that have been published, and the team members that are doing the most markups. So a lot of information there can be gathered from the detail that individuals are adding to the PDFs, to the DWGs and the Revit sheets and so on. So that's a really nice enhancement, again, given the data at our fingertips. Next one, please. The ability to use project files on the mobile. Okay, so this is a big one. So if you look within the actual build module, Autodesk made the decision at the start to not allow those users out on site, so the guys with in the field, not to see the project files area of the platform. And I'm assuming by feedback, people have said they would like to do that, be able to control it. So now we're able to do that. The project admin is able to give access to those individuals out on site, but also control it by the permissions of the folders that they can see and what they can do within those folders. I think that's a really great enhancement.
Absolutely. I think I was on a chat with you, Martin, or on a meeting with you, Martin, when I realized this has come out, and it was just you know, something that can take you off your chair, because we've been waiting for this. We've got some of the functionality elsewhere, but we wanted it to have it within this ACC platform, and it's really great, iOS or Android mobile devices. So if you've got either of those, hopefully this should now work with your device.
Yeah, that's just a point for going to this one. When you are looking through these updates, there will state in there if they are already active, if they are coming soon, and do check to see if they are on Android or iOS. Sometimes they're one before the other, sometimes they're at the same time, but just make sure you look at those details to make sure you don't think it's going to be on, let's say, iOS, and it's not yet. Yeah. Next one, please. Public link. Okay, so this was a great enhancement Autodesk added a couple of years back. Obviously in ACC, that's come when the platform was released. It's the ability to share multiple files or documents or folders with external people that don't have a license. Okay, so I always say it needs to be used with caution. You don't want to be sharing work in progress, because the idea of a CD is a single source of truth. But what we've always had to do is, if I want to share 5 files, you've got 5 URLs. And so what we can do now is we can pick the amount of files or models, whatever we want to share, but it's via one URL, and you get a dashboard that you're able to then see the data that I wanted to share with you. So that's, again, it's an approved workflow of an existing workflow already in there. So that's a really nice one to come along.
Yeah, thank you very much, Martin. And there's a link in the chat. If you keep that link, bookmark that link. It's just been out on, I think the link was released on the 18th. Right. So within that link, what you'll see is a website like this, and it will take you through the 35 plus new product updates for Autodesk Construction Cloud. It's a really cool website, and you can go through and see on the platform that you're working on. So whether it's Autodesk Construction Cloud, Unified Platform, Autodesk Build, Building Connected, or BIM 360, there is something in here for you. And so really core items, you know, some of them we've been through on this call, but there's too many to go through. So instead of kind of bombarding you with a lot of different items, you can have a look at it at your own leisure. There's things like cost management items, copying items, Excel payment application templates, spread markups. You know, there's loads and loads of exciting new features that and enhancements that has just come out on the 18th. Some are coming soon, and it will tell you that it's coming soon, is what Martyn's mentioned. So as we can see here highlighted, some items are coming soon. So rather than looking and thinking, oh, it's still not there, something is broke, what's happened with my account? Don't worry, some items and features are being pushed in as we speak.